Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Conspiracy Farm, where we don't start the conspiracies, we just add the water. And now, your host of the most state-of-the-art, most informed podcast on the interweb, I present to you Pat Miletich and Jeffrey Wilson. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for...
All right, cool, champ. Back at you, everyone. The Conspiracy Farm. Your co-host, Jeffrey Wilson, with my... I'm his sidekick, and I just want to get that clear right now. UFC Hall of Famer, Pat Miletich. What's up, brother?
Well, everything's up right now. There's a lot going on with the new administration. Donald Trump's done more in the short time he's been in office than, holy cow, any president besides, like, during World War I or II, right?
And heads are rolling. I mean, clearly, of course he's not making everybody happy, but it's unprecedented, You hear the mainstream news tell it, and he's destroying the planet or whatever, but it's definitely aggressive. He's definitely coming in aggressive, coming in hot.
Well, Trump has shown that, who got fired from the Obama administration besides Van Jones? Can you name anybody? And I think Van Jones just left because there was so much pressure.
Well, he went on that military purge kind of towards the end. A lot of people don't know a lot of the names.
Besides generals and admirals.
Oh, shoot, I don't even know, really. Should have boned up on that prior to the program. What, do you have the answer? Is this a trick question?
I'm just saying he didn't fire anybody that I know of, right? Besides the generals and admirals.
Certainly not full-on cabinet members within,
Well, think about it, dude. Obama relieved Mattis. Mattis is one of the greatest military leaders in history, and Mattis disagreed with him on what he was doing and got let go.
Well, and that's a perfect example of what you're talking about. In the first, 72, 48 hours, he came in with, 30-plus different sorties and airstrikes?
Yeah, and an ISIS convoy was annihilated where, you remember that they were worried about environmental damage from hitting gas tankers, diesel tankers, and other stuff in these convoys, right?
Oh, is that the rationale? I never heard that.
That was their global warming bullshit rationale.
Oh, wow. I was going to say, man, we can tell, if a dime is heads or tail on the ground, via satellite. We can see all these guys, We know where they're at. We know what's going on. That's why, for me, I was pretty heartened by the fact, Trump and those guys, they knew the whole time. Even Obama, those fuckers knew the whole time, but just facilitated it. Trump's like, no. In my opinion, Trump came in, no. Mattis came in, nope. We know exactly where you're at. Smoked them.
Exactly, yeah. And I think that they're also turning the Iraqi military loose on them. I think most of that attack was done by Iraq helicopters that we sold them. So, but convoys weren't getting hit, from what I understand, during the last administration. But Mattis has obviously taken the leash off these guys and said, let's eliminate these guys because, truth be told, which I'm looking forward to being able to talk more about, but the truth be told, how ISIS was. We know ISIS was created by money from Saudi Arabia, Qatar, United Arab Emirates, and
US.
Western nations also. Yeah. So, but some of the other funding, dude, pretty scary stuff. So.
Yeah, and I'll be anxious to see, if he does kind of slice the jugular on these guys, because it's not like they don't know who they are, where they are. They play the whole, I don't know, almost Keystone Cop-ish. We don't know where they're at. We can't catch them kind of thing. But, we all know better than that.
No, it's not the truth at all. And let's go to, since we're on the subject of, war against ISIS, talk a little bit about the shooting in Quebec City, right?
Yeah, I saw that. It did shot up a mosque right after, I think, the day Trump did his little travel restriction business.
Yeah, so the Today Show, I was,
super bored this morning or whatever morning?
No, I was treated to the torturous viewing of that by my wife. I love my wife, but Jesus God. So they reported on that one of the shooters, or they said the shooter. They didn't say one of. They said the shooter. Now it's suddenly one of the names has disappeared from mainstream media.
Oh, yeah?
And his name was Alexander Bissonnette, which is a French-Canadian name. But they didn't mention that the other shooter, Mohammed Kadir, they mentioned nothing about him on the Today Show. They just said Alexander Bissonnette, and he's a right-wing extremist. When in reality, he's a convert from most likely Catholicism or something else to Islam, because he's hanging out with this Mohammed Kadir. And we know the hotbed with the Tsarnaev brothers and a bunch of other extremists up there in Boston. That's pretty close to getting Canada. That there's a hotbed between the United States and the Boston area and down into other.
And that is on that side. That Quebec side is on that eastern side. That province is. Yeah, absolutely.
This stuff's directly linked in my mind to a lot of extremists up in that area of the country, and and the media is losing their mind and losing the war against Trump and his followers and his administration on the justification behind shutting down travel for 90 days, putting a pause on it anyway until we can get a true vetting process going to figure out who the hell is coming into this country.
And it's so prudent, brother. And you and I have literally articulated, if he does go through with this, which he did, what it really is about, at least in our humble opinions. Man, this for me, and I understand if people want to filter it through that fear or whatever the hell they're doing it is, this is not a Muslim ban. I mean, this might obviously affect mostly Muslim people, but the countries they're talking about, ladies and gentlemen, are the very countries that were having these issues of state-sponsored terrorism. If this was a war on Islam, it would have encompassed the countries that have more Muslims than any of the countries that are on the list. Nigeria, Indonesia, Pakistan,
Saudi
Egypt.
Arabia.
Bangladesh, Egypt, India, Pakistan, Indonesia, Nigeria, none of those are on the list. Indonesia has more Muslims in the world than anybody, and they're not on the list.
Right.
So it's like, and it's only 120 days or 90 days. It's a security issue more than anything, everybody. It's not some xenophobic, he hates Muslims, and we can get into the conversation about legitimate Islam trying to set up caliphate, etc. But this is Trojan horse shit, man. This is the checkers we've been talking about. If everybody wants to get butthurt and emotive, thinking they're whatever, this is against the normal values of America, I get what you're saying, but ladies and gentlemen, we are at risk and we are at war.
Well, and just today in Austria, Muslim extremists were arrested who were setting up a caliphate in that nation.
Yeah, I mean,
look, it's happening everywhere.
It is. So, legit organic caliphate Islamic terrorism is happening legitimately, and state-sponsored, etc. So, I mean, it's a very, very dangerous time. So this notion of ladies and gentlemen, why do you lock your doors at night? You know what I mean? It's just a basic security issue. And if you look at it through the prism of human rights, etc. I mean, dude, it's unfortunate that it has to be this way. We've talked about this. In my opinion, it's unfortunate that this regime change ideology has existed through so many different administrations that they've gone over and created such chaos, created this diaspora in these countries. Some of those people, I'm sure, are absolutely legit people fleeing fucking horror. I get it. But within that is, weaponized, I don't call it weaponized Islam or whatever you want to call it, but why leave ourselves open why take the risk?
No, true. You hear me okay?
Yeah, it got a little, I got echoed and then I hear you a little muffled.
Yeah. No, there are, and there's a lot of Christians that have been butchered, and Yazidis and Shia Muslims, and now you got, it was Sunni, Syria's, there's a lot of Sunnis there, there's Christians, Yazidis,
you name it, yeah.
A lot of different groups of people, and Assad wasn't doing anything to any of them.
And this goes back to the Wesley Clark, ladies and gentlemen, 5 countries in 7 years, or whatever it was, 7 countries in 5 years. They operated under the MO of regime change. That's what the Clinton Foundation was all about. They monetized this ideology, and they've been going around, the world doing it. They did it in freaking Libya. They've done it in, several countries, and have attempted to do it in Syria. And I think that's really
Egypt, everything else. So, let me I just want to go back real quick to this Quebec City shooting. When the names were released, the media and the Muslim groups who were painting this as right-wing extremists, and they still are painting it as right-wing extremists. Now I think that they'll just stop reporting on it. Where's your money on that?
Well, I mean, I think they're going to switch because it's already happened, champ. Once, after that happened, which is interesting because I wasn't too familiar with the names they were using in the Quebec thing, but, per this travel ban, I'm hearing the narrative drummed up more. All of the terrorist attacks since 9/11 haven't been from external Muslims. They've been from American citizens. Then you start getting into that lone wolf narrative. So I don't know, man. I think they've been drumming up this, fear the terror, and I think that it's kind of morphed into also fear the lone wolf, not just lone wolf Islamic terrorists, but like you said, the lone wolf right wing. So I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen, they are setting up a narrative to ensnare a lot of people. Just basic dissent anymore or down the line can get you labeled as a terrorist. Who knows? But that's what I'm seeing drumming up, champ. I'm seeing they're going to cover a lot of bases here.
Dude, here's the thing, though. Okay, this whole lone wolf title that they've given these guys that go out and do this stuff by themselves, look, they're part of a very large army that's global, okay? So the lone wolf thing doesn't sit with me. It's a turd that does not flush.
No, I agree.
Because they're all being radicalized, and they are the doers.
Well, that's when you hear when it happens. Are they affiliated or are they sympathetic with? Affiliated.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
I agree. But that's how they create the narrative.
They're reading the same manual, right?
Right. No, I agree.
It would be like this. Okay, I put out a book on, I've got a book at my house here that's as thick as an Encyclopedia Britannica. It's that big. And it's all on how to be a great sniper, right? So if suddenly we had global problem with sniping going on, and in every one of these guys' houses they found this book, right? So it's not only a book on how to do it, but a motivation on why you should do it and who you should shoot, right? So don't you think that book would get probably outlawed because it's got hate speech in it?
I remember, if you remember,
snipe white people.
Around the McVeigh time,
white people.
The Turner Diaries. I'm sorry,
get banned, right?
I'm sorry. What were we saying? I keep talking over you. What'd you say?
I'm just saying that if that book had in it not only the how-to, but also the why and the who you kill, the book would be outlawed, right? Wouldn't
Absolutely.
It?
I would agree, yeah. Just like the Turner Diaries was red flags back in the McVeigh days.
Book, right?
It is, yeah. It should be. Well, you would think.
Just saying, dude. I'm just saying. People can say all they want about, you can't ban a religion, you can't ban that, and there's millions upon millions upon millions of great Muslims who never want to hurt anybody, but something's going on with this.
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt. I mean, like we've said, we're not even halfway through this. This is, again, I try to look at this from the larger perspective, the kind of the global agenda. They are definitely using some old school East versus West. That's just one part of it. And then the religious aspect, Muslim versus Christian. I think there's a lot of things firing here. And I think, like I said, there is legitimate terror. But I said via the chess game, we just got to make sure to not get played and start, the marches. We haven't talked about the marches and all that stuff yet, right? The day after Trump was put in, which, cool. Love everyone's right to get out and march. I love seeing the numbers. Everyone has a right to do it. It was awesome. My thing was, where the fuck has everybody been these last 50, 60 fucking years while the chess game has been going on? Not the fucking checkers butthurt game. Right. The chess game. Where's it been then?
Well, it's all the distraction. Dude.
Exactly.
Who came up with the idea to manufacture millions of vagina hats?
And to be taken seriously and do that? Come on. That was insane.
No, but here's the thing. This is how far it's gone with dividing a nation. So you start with rich and poor, right?
Exactly.
How people are sitting financial, and they don't pay their fair share, and
have and have nots.
On the side, look, I understand and feel for the plight of poor people. I haven't always been middle class. Let's put it that way. Then it's black versus white, or white versus anybody who's not white, and religion versus a religion. And now they've gone so far. Imagine the households with a Democrat and a Republican in it. Now they're dividing families, dude. Now they've gone down to the family unit and divided it. And now it's man versus wife even.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how evil. That's how evil these people are. And they have latched on to the concerns of the sensitivities of every person in every aspect of life, no matter what it is, whether it's financial, whether it's religious, whether it's gender-based, no matter what it is, latched onto it, funded it, fueled it, and turned it into complete chaos in America. And, that's why I keep saying a guy like George Soros, who's funding this stuff, MoveOn.org, CARE should absolutely be a terrorist organization. Black Lives Matter is being funded through Soros money. All this stuff is designed to completely divide a nation and help it fall.
Dude, I mean, serious. And that is absolutely no joke, man. And this process is slow. And it's been going on for a long time. But the thing is, man, and we're seeing it, like you said, you just articulated it perfectly, champ. But there's an end to this. It all's leading to something. And I'm not sure what the hell it is, but whatever it is when it happens, when it's whatever disaster, everyone's going to be throwing everyone under the bus because of this whole thing you just laid out. Husband's going to be throwing wives under the bus. Hey, there's a freaking Muslim. Hey, there's a Christian. Hey, there's a black dude I saw. There's, whatever. All those strata you represented right there, you articulated. We're just going to start turning on each other, man. It's already freaking happened. School kids telling on their parents because carbon use or whatever the school asked them to do. I don't know if you've seen that. How do you use carbon in your home? Anyway.
Are you serious?
Yeah, dude, I'll send it to you. Like grade school kids are getting these little like kind of sheets. You fill out how you use stuff in your home and you take it back to school. Yeah, I'll send it to you, dude.
Well, that's like doctors asking kids if they have guns in their house. Do your mommies and daddies have guns in the house?
I mean, bro, there's records of schools giving kids vaccines without parental consent in schools.
Do you realize how fast I'd be arrested if they did that to my kids?
Oh, fuck, arrested, dude. I would either be the superintendent or the king of the city or whatever. I mean, I would sue like a champ if they freaking vaccinated my daughter without my consent.
I don't know if I could hold back from.
Oh, bro, you would need me to like a handler or something like cage Pat because we're about to retire. Everyone, please. Seriously, I'd be pissed too. But God bless it. No, hey, check this out, man. Did you know? I mean, nothing is new under the sun, ladies and gentlemen. I've articulated. I don't think Trump's necessarily a silver bullet to things. I like a little bit of I like some of his swag he's got going on, but. Did you realize that one of his advisors is a gentleman by the name of Steven Feinberg, who used to be the head of DynCorp? DynCorp got fined and caught up about 10 years ago for human trafficking. And it was also affiliated with a Halliburton, Kellogg Brown and Root human trafficking kind of suit. But DynCorp has been caught up for some human trafficking stuff that's on their record, so to speak. So Trump brought in the head of DynCorp as one of his advisors, which is interesting. Not to say that Trump's into that. I'm just saying, it's not all complete outsiders coming into. That is a little odd. I wonder how Bannon's doing with that. Yeah, that's interesting too. Bannon, that guy. Because
Andrew Breitbart with his past going after those people, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. If I don't want everybody thinking like me, I really don't. But if everybody kind of
does Trump want him close? It seems like Trump's putting some people in just to keep the enemy close.
Yeah, that's kind of funny you said that because I mentioned this to somebody a little bit ago, and that's exactly was their take. He's kind of trying to keep your friends close and your enemies closer.
Yep. So.
Who knows, dude? Trump could be one of them cats that like to be pooped on, or like have one of them CEOs that like the whole fecal thing, or like stepping on their balls with like stilettos. That shit's real with some of them CEOs and the power dynamic, dude. They love to be dominated. Who knows? I've heard that shit happen, especially in Hollywood.
You went straight down the rabbit hole with that one.
It's real, dude. I mean, I know cats. I know you do too, but I've heard some Hollywood. I could drop some freaking names on cats in Hollywood who like to be pooped on. I mean, and just generally speaking, that whole dominatrix thing, there's that dynamic, that power dynamic of you run everybody every day, so you want to be dominated. So those can turn kind of poopy and pissy, and you know how it goes.
It's what is it? Is that from what Naked Gun 2.5 or whatever it was?
What?
You like to see grown men naked?
Yeah, that airplane.
Remember him asking him that?
Tommy, have you ever been in a Turkish prison?
You like to be manhandled?
We digress here at the Conspiracy Farm.
So, what else is Trump doing here?
What else?
Getting ready to name a
I just
Supreme
sent you a
Court justice?
video before we went on here, and where is Eric Braverman? We still have not seen Eric Braverman.
Well, Eric Braverman has been missing since, what was it? What did I say, October 18th?
Yeah, it was like the end of October was his last, and supposedly, I don't know if this is true, because I don't know. There's been that Monica Peterson, the girl who went down, was kind of investigating stuff in Haiti with the Clintons who wound up dying.
Right.
There's some interesting information coming out about that. I guess I have to speak on it too, because I'm not completely informed on it, but I think the next episode we need to not let those kind of stories go away, because with this whole Podesta, Pizzagate stuff, there was some shady stuff going on in Haiti, ladies and gentlemen, with the children, and this Monica Peterson was kind of investigating it and wound up dying, and I definitely don't want that to go away, because it seemed like the Pizzagate stuff, all that stuff, kind of just went away because Hillary Clinton went away, but that syndicate did not go away, because like I just said, someone from DynCorp is back in the White House area, and DynCorp has been a company that's been a part of some real global shitty shit as it relates to human trafficking. Just saying.
Right. Well, back on to some of the stuff. I think that Trump's boldness, though, is having an effect on the rest of not only the rest of the country, in terms of people that believe that these things should be happening, in terms of protecting Americans, in terms of financial protection also, and trying to fire up the economy again, going away from the globalist economy and bringing jobs back to America, but also, on the safety of Americans. And Le Pen in France is talking about copying the same restrictions that Trump has put in place, and getting strict on, because France has a big problem with it.
Well, Champ, this is what I'm saying. Look at this whole past summer. Why isn't everyone paying attention to what just happened in Germany? The guy drove through the thing in the Christmas parade. Brussels, Paris, Germany, Belgium. Like, dude, that's going to come here. And the only reason that has happened in such a huge way is because of the lack of vetting process, essentially. Trump's trying to have us avoid what's already going on in Europe.
Those globalists and lefties are sitting there saying stuff like, well, if you do this, you're going to make Muslims even madder and cause more terrorism. Really, that's how you're going to
address this,
right? Like,
that's a 10-year-old child mentality. I'm not appeasing that, man. Fuck yourself.
I'm going to go ahead and leave my front door open,
right,
of my house when I go away on vacation, and nobody's going to go in and steal my stuff.
Right.
Right. I won't, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of my dogs that can eat people. Go ahead and get rid of my guns, because I really don't need those, because, that's only the neighbor that's going to get attacked. It's not going to be me.
Well, and this is what I've said time and time again on this show, and I've said it, whatever. Again, I don't know it all, damn it, but people's lack of information, which kind of the definition of that is ignorant, can be and is dangerous. This notion of fucking let them in from those countries, even though we know we have heat with cats from those countries, is just so counterintuitive and so counter security. They're so in their feelings, they're not seeing the goddamn existential real threat that's going on. The chess game, basically.
Dude, I'm so sick of liberal feelings. I literally want to vomit because of their feelings.
That shit ain't getting me killed, dude. And it ain't getting my friends or family killed. And seriously, I'm beyond not anti-Muslim. I can't even count in my hand how many. It's not even about that, and that's what sickens me, that it happens to take over everyone's brain. Like, no, you're just saying no to Muslims, and come on, man. It's like all those people are all Muslims. Like you said, some of those are Christians. Some of those, dude. Yeah. The variations of dialects and language, and we're just so freaking. Oh man, I hate it. It's same as black people or white people. It's like, everyone's so monolithic in their thinking without even knowing there's so much nuance to people, man.
Well, and think about, they did an interview with Chris Kyle's interpreter from the Middle East. And he goes, yeah, I support this. We have to friggin' stop these guys from coming in. These are dangerous people. And ISIS flat out said, we're going to infiltrate refugees coming into the West, period. We're going to stick people in there. And they have. In Bowling Green, Kentucky, they caught 2 of the scariest terrorists you can imagine, who had tons of bomb-making equipment, all kinds of weapons. And these guys were part of Al-Qaeda in the Middle East who had already killed U.S. service members because they had their films of all the IEDs that went off underneath Humvees and armored personnel carriers killing our people. These guys were let into this country under the last administration because of the bullshit vetting process, and these people were going to come here and start killing Americans.
Yeah,
that's what's going on.
I heard Claire McCaskill, who was obviously our Missouri senator, who I've actually met and talked to, whatever, DC me being when you talk to her. She was like, oh man, our vetting is super extreme, man. We do biometrics, fucking retina scans, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, cool. I mean, we might have some top-notch vetting officially, but the chess game is allowing assholes in. It's not about our official vetting process. I'm sure it might be top-notch, maybe not completely, but the point is, it's not just like, ooh, the borders are porous. Like, no, this shit is being allowed to occur. Problem, reaction, solution. That's the other thing. The southern border. When did we get amnesia about the southern border? It's not anti-Mexican. Don't we remember the shit going on in Juarez and decapitated police officers and just random people in the middle of the freeway in Texas, like coming across the border?
Dude, that's the thing. One of my coworkers.
Not to say they're all. Not to say they are all. But fuck right. We got to be honest about the threat.
Right. But one of my coworkers, great guy, love him to death. Said that he wrote letters to his senators. And I said, well, yeah, what'd you write letters to your senators about? And he's left-leaning, which is fine because we have good conversations. But he said about this damn wall. And I go, well, what about that damn wall? And he goes, it's ridiculous. He goes, this is, and I go, no, what's ridiculous is that, people like my wife came here legally and had to pay the fees and sit in immigration offices across the Midwest and jump through all the hoops and do it right when we've got up to 30 million people here illegally, Jason. I said, the main thing is I've been to the border and I've worked with officers down in the Southwest and I've been to prisons. I've gone in when they've done drug raids in prisons in the Southwest. You want to talk about some freaky stuff. I'm right on their tail going into the prison, into a certain cell block area, and they drop flashbangs and freak everybody out and pile them up on a floor and march them all out and sit them down Indian style, facing walls. And there's an entire big room full of them all sitting there. And you look at all of them, and I would be willing to bet that 80 to 90% of this group of 100 to 150 guys, 80 to 90% of them were not Americans. And 50% of them had the tattoos of the patron saint of drug dealers on their neck. And these guys are in our country, and they're filling up our prisons, and they're bringing in dope, they're shooting people, they're executing people, they're kidnapping people. Arizona in Phoenix, I think that they had something like, it was hundreds of kidnappings because of the drug trade and stuff down there.
Yeah,
they're kidnapping people and holding them ransom. For
the news must have just chose to stop reporting that, bro, because that was going on. It hasn't stopped. The drug, all that shit's still going on. So I'm like, why is it so underreported now? Yeah,
and then there was so much pressure by the feds on Sheriff Joe Arpaio down there that he ended up leaving office. They put a new guy in, and his first statement when he got into office, you know what it was? I'm going to protect the immigrants, the aliens that are here. I'm going to protect them. So he got put in place by the powers that be, the feds, whatever. But I think the tide's going to shift back the other way pretty quick with Trump in power. That guy's not going to enjoy himself here pretty quick because, Arpaio down there in Phoenix, he was winning elections by landslides because of his tough enforcement on illegal immigration.
He was very no nonsense on crime. Or just the way he kind of his pink not pink jumpsuits, but all inmates in pink and shit. It's like they do.
Funny story. So I'm sitting there eating, and I'm there for a show in Phoenix. And while I was down there, I trained some Maricopa County people. And a guy who knew who I was, asked me why I was there. And I told him, I was there to do a show, do a live broadcast, but I was also training Maricopa County people and stuff like that. And he goes, "Oh, yeah, did you meet Sheriff Joe?" And I go, "Yeah, I hung out with him in his office a little bit and talked to him for a while." And he goes, "I hate that son of a bitch." I go, "Oh, yeah, why's that?" And he goes, "I got arrested for drunk driving, and I spent a week in that jail, and I had to wear a pink jumpsuit and pink underwear, and every night they would march us inside a building with TV monitors up on the walls, and Sheriff Joe would read us bedtime stories before we had to go turn out the lights and go to bed." He goes, "That was ridiculous." And I go, "Well, have you been arrested for drunk driving since? Or have you been back since?" And he goes, "No." I go, "Obviously it worked."
Mission accomplished, dude. That's a healthy deterrent right there, man.
He looked at me and was kind of like, "I guess you're right."
Right. Wow.
So.
Sheriff Joe. Well, what else we got, man? I mean, we can't be done yet. We have, it's going to be interesting because, like I said, last night, 24 hours ago, they call it the Monday Night Massacre. President Trump fired the Attorney General for not enforcing a legal,
The acting Attorney General.
The acting Attorney General, yes.
Who was appointed by Obama, who's obviously going to cause problems for Trump.
Right.
And she didn't refuse to obey his ruling, his executive action, based on law. She did it because her morals told her she couldn't be a mean person.
Interesting.
Right?
Yeah. No, I'm still kind of like, man, what the hell? Because, we knew this was the change. Like, Obama was talking change, and it wasn't exactly the kind of change we're talking about. And we'll see if this exactly pans out to the change he was talking about. But, I mean, shit. The House of Commons yesterday, I saw a video of the House of Commons. They're going ape shit over in the UK. Like, they were like, "Do not cancel his visit here. Cancel him." Like, they were just going off on, the travel ban and et cetera, et cetera. I'm like, please.
Yeah. And those are now, did the politicians confirm the exit from Brexit? Has that vote happened yet over there?
I don't know. The
Brexit.
Right.
From the European Union.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if they don't go with the citizens. You talk about uprising.
I saw somebody post on the old FaceBase last night. They were like, "Is Trump our Brexit?" Or is Trump our Brexit? And I'm like, duh. What the fuck, dude?
Are you kidding? Yeah. Okay. So anyway, on the situation with the travel restrictions right now on those countries. Here's something for you. Federal Immigration Law, Section 1182. Whenever the president finds that the entry of any aliens or of any class of aliens into the United States would be detrimental to the interests of the United States, he may, by proclamation and for such period as he shall deem necessary, suspend the entry of all aliens or any class of aliens as immigrants or non-immigrants, or impose on the entry of aliens any restrictions he may deem to be appropriate. So he's definitely within his rights of what he's done.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, I think it's a matter of authority issue. It just is frustrating to me because everyone's fusing this and filtering this through their hatred of Trump. Not even, he bypassed DHS. They didn't even know. I mean, he might not have executed as clean as a traditional politician. But at the end of the day, the function of this thing is something people aren't understanding. And that to me is frustrating because that's a lot of people out there saying, "Fuck yeah, let him in," blah, 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 blah. I'm like, dude, you're compromising, not only your safety, but me, my family and shit's safety. Right. And that's why I say their ignorance of this situation is dangerous.
Well, but these are the people, like I said, that are being motivated and organized by money from the leftists, like Soros.
I don't think all of them are, champ. I think you have a large contingent of it, but you have a lot of people who just are very feel-good, utopia world. I mean, the world we live in isn't the world we want. We all want to fucking live together, et cetera, but the real world is not the same as that. Those guys are living in that kind of utopia world. Come on, let's just kumbaya type shit, and that's not what's happening. And seriously, as serious as a heart attack, man, I'm not about to compromise and risk my kids, and family and all that shit. Dude, it's just practical shit, man. It's the same reason why you fucking lock your doors at night. That's all he's saying. America is locking their doors to a certain clique that we know have been fucking with us. That's all. Like I said, if it was on Muslims at large, like I said, Indonesia would be on the list. Nigeria, Pakistan, India. They're not.
Right.
Yeah, that's a lot of fucking people. You're talking about a billion some people.
I believe it's from the numbers I've seen. It does not affect 87% of the Muslims globally,
exactly.
Which is well over 1 billion people.
I just had a friend on Facebook tell me my mom just got into America via the Sudan, who's apparently not on the list. I mean, cartoon Sudan, she got in. Like, it's not. And this is the media too. It reminds me of the weathermen, right? The storm's gonna be so fucking. You need to go to get water and batten down the head. And like there was a couple drops. You know what I mean? It's just like they're just.
37 million Americans will be affected by this torrential downpour.
Yes. And again, for me, it's just pragmatism. You know what I mean? I recognize the threat. Of course, it's not all Muslims. It's a very nuanced chess game situation. Well, I just wish people would get a little bit more hip to it, Listen to the Conspiracy Farm a couple more times.
I don't know how many people out there have seen this video, but it's a guy using clear, like what would be a PVC tube, but clear, filled with gumballs, right? And he takes a martini glass and he goes,
I saw that this morning.
Right? So this gumball represents 1 million people. And he drops it in the martini glass. And he goes, that represents how many people we let into this country each year. And then he goes through each continent with the number of billions of people, millions, and then into billions of people that live below the quality of living in Mexico. How much money they make. What is it? $2, less than $2 a day. And it's 5.2 billion people. So, they sit there and talk about this huge humanitarian thing that they're doing for humanity by allowing, 1 million people, and they want to up it to 2 million people into this country each year, when in reality, all that's doing is, look, I mean, you've got people that are coming here that are living off the system, the Section 8 housing, the welfare, food stamps, the free hospitalization, the schooling, everything else. They're sucking off the system ultimately and costing us a massive amount of money instead of contributing. Now, sure, there are some that contribute. Don't get me wrong, but we end up having some serious financial hits from this, and you would think that so it hurts this nation. Ultimately, it does hurt this nation.
No, I agree. And
whatever
something
they want.
No, go ahead.
But it makes it tougher for us. And it's just going to increase our taxes and cost of living and everything else. But basically what this guy is saying, we need to help them where they're at. We need to figure out a way to make it better for these 5.2 million people around the world. And some guy goes, oh yeah, well, hey genius, how do you do that? And I said, well, I guess first probably stop robbing their resources out of their nations. Right?
That would help. Starting fucked up wars, etc. But my opinion, dude, it should never ever be a financial thing. It should be a political thing, like right versus left. Hey, less government. That's the conversation. It should never be fucking financial because this country, the dough is there. I just posted something on our page a little while ago. The day before,
at 20 trillion in debt, the dough's not there.
No, it's just a matter of allocation of dough. Like we would. I mean, of course, there's that conversation of like debt, whatever. The day before 9/11, Rumsfeld talked about 2 trillion that was just lost in just the Pentagon, and that was in 2001. So you're talking about even corporate welfare. You're talking about like food stamps and all that shit. I get it. But corporate welfare takes up way more than that. And look at what corporations have done. Not exactly the best for the American people. So I'm just saying, it should never be a financial issue. I mean, because look at the shit we've done, the fucking wars, just trillions that we've spent just for that. The money is there. It's just a matter of how we choose to allocate it. In my humble.
Right.
Hey, dude, did you know Obama? Did you realize President Barack Obama, between 2009 and 2015 administration removed more than 2.5 million people through immigration orders, and according to governmental data, in comparison to other presidents, it's more than any other president and administration in history. In fact, they deported more than the sum of all presidents in the 20th century.
He deported more?
Yeah, and this was on ABC, mainstream media news.
I would like, I'd like some other sources.
No, but I was almost being facetious when I posted it because mainstream media has been so protective of him. For them to be like he was the deporter in chief and deported more than anybody in the 20th century or whatever as far as presidents goes is it's kind of tongue in cheek. Even they're already throwing him under the bus, and I don't know. It seems to me kind of covering their ass,
sure.
like already trying to chum up to Trump a little bit. I don't know.
Hold on one sec here.
But it's an interesting narrative. Do you think? I asked you this before, and honestly, I've just had this conversation so much in the last week, bro. Everyone's saying they're gonna kill him. They're gonna kill him. Like it's just like he's shaking it up so much. Everyone's almost doing like a fantasy pool on how long till Donald Trump gets dealt with. What do you think, dude? I mean, like you said, he's shaking it up pretty significantly.
Well, I'm not sure. I just don't know how much he's going to go out in public and stuff. Has he been going out much? I think he's been in the White House working his ass off, hasn't he?
Yeah, but I mean, he's like 3 weeks in. He's got like three and 3/4 years left. He's more than that even.
Well, all I know is, people like, there are people that obviously like him. There's a lot of the leaders that were elected after people were run out of office basically in Europe and other places because of they're so sick of the control from the globalists. Even Jordan's King Abdullah wants Trump to get tougher on terrorism, which is, and he was, Trump Abdullah or King Abdullah was educated in America. I know he was an Ivy guy. He speaks like he's from the Midwest.
Right.
The guy has no accent whatsoever. I mean, but
he trains with their military, dude. He does these like training raids, like these.
He flies gunships and stuff.
That dude's no joke. That guy's no joke.
Yeah.
See, we need more. If we need more like chill countries like that, man. We need, that's a very good precedent for that region. Just like the people love him. He's not like a freaking despot. You know what I mean? It seems like the people dig him.
Right. It's and kind of interestingly enough, though, in the massive training facility in Jordan is where a lot of ISIS people were trained by Western Special Forces people.
I was going to ask that as you lamented him. I was like, in my mind, I'm like, I think there was still some shady stuff going on in Jordan.
Well, it's like, okay, we bring in these people, we want you to train them. Who do we tell you're training, right? So I've been offered to go over to the Middle East and train people, and I've turned it down because I don't know who I'm training, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because they know that I train law enforcement and military. And I'll just say one of them was the royal family of Dubai wanted me to train their people, right? And I just went, no. And actually I could have used the money back then. It was a time in my life where I really probably could have hoarded myself out pretty easily, but just because I didn't know.
You might have never come back, dude. You could have been like a fucking crown jewel. Like, we have your Croatian sensation. You've been in that damn orange jumpsuit, dude.
Well, just, like I say, you don't know who you're training. Are these people, eventual terrorists? Who are these people?
Right.
Are they being trained to go kill people? Do I want them to know what I know? Hell no.
That just sucks, bro. That just sucks that has to be a legitimate consideration. You're not fucking racist or xenophobic. You're obviously you're very security conscious, and that just sucks that has to be on your mind, man. It's just imagine the guys that actually did the training for the people that are ISIS. I know, right?
You're like, wait a minute, dude. That guy that's cutting off those people's heads, I trained that dude.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Do I want to be that? No.
That would be another one I'd like to get into sometime. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I'd rather not go there. That's all right.
In what? What terms of? What do you mean?
Well, I mean, just because I think in order to get in some of those positions, some of those, not necessarily Delta Force, some of those, you have to have a certain level of moral ambiguity. Yes, you're still adhering to the code of ethics, etc. But some of those guys, long story short, I'm wondering if they did know. Some of them elite cats, I wonder how many of them did know that they were training possible assholes. Well, they were being trained out of the military. They were being paid a whole bunch, like your whatever, your security forces, your contractors, that just got a little more ambiguous about it. Like, I'm getting paid a shitload of money. I don't give a fuck who, I don't know.
Well, I would say that, number one, they aren't active duty guys. They're former members of those special forces groups that are doing the trainings and stuff. CIA guys, stuff like that. But it's. I think that they're just told, this is a State Department program. You're training these guys, and
exactly. Most of them just going through the motions.
Part of the Free Syrian Rebel eventual army, whatever, to take down Assad, who's a bad guy, and they do what they're told, I guess.
Well,
right?
And that's honestly, I mean, from what I've read and what I've kind of looked up on, that's kind of the nature of this apparatus. Everything is very compartmentalized. Like, no, you're training a legit dude. You know what I mean? It's just. It's kind of like, in my opinion, like Gitmo, the Guantanamo Bay. That was less a detention facility, more so, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to catch no flack on this, but I think a certain level of that was a processing facility of who they can send back out into the mix, because the record of that place is just festooned with cats who were detained there for a long period of time, went back out, did shit, did terrorist stuff, you know what I mean? So,
well, it's like Baghdadi, the leader of ISIS, who, was in a New York.
Who's died apparently like 3 times, like Zarqawi. We killed him. No, he's alive. We killed him. No, he's alive.
They said they heard him. He was severely injured or mortally wounded or something in a airstrike. What was it, a couple weeks ago?
Mattis's. That was probably Mattis's freaking dropping some love.
I just don't know if that's actually true, because we haven't heard anything more about it, right?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Dude, I remember not all of the names, but like Al-Zarqawi, there was several names that dude, literally over the course of months, if not years, like, we killed him, nothing. We killed him. It was just weird. It would just be this, like, seriously. And that's what got absurd. I'm like, didn't we? It's like
No, that was another dude with a beard.
You know what I mean? With the same name, that was the head of freaking Al-Nusra or whatever.
But Baghdadi was in a federal prison in New York State, right? And was released out of there. And when he left, I guess he reportedly looked at the guy, the warden that ran that federal penitentiary, and said, "I'm coming back to get your ass."
I remember hearing that. The blind cleric, I forget his name. But you might be talking about a different story. But the guy who did the original World Trade Center bombing, as I forget his name, the blind cleric guy, but they were transporting him in flying over the World Trade Center and supposedly said, like, "We'll be back," or whatever.
Like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Exactly.
I'll be back.
That's so movie picturesque, flying off to the New York skyline. "I will be back, you American dog."
So, dude, let's talk about Hollywood a little bit.
Let's talk about Hollyweird. They're weird.
They're losing their minds even more than everybody else.
They're losing their mind. What happened to your girl, dude? I'm not saying when I say this, like, your girl, like, what's up with who had the rap, or gosh, it's not tipping my tongue.
Well, you can't call her
Ashley Judd. Ashley Judd. What's up? What happened with that? Like, that was weird.
Oh, well.
And there was a guy at the SAG Awards last night that started it was interesting. He was raging about violence and intolerance or whatever. And at the end, he said, "If you continue basically to be intolerant, we'll punch you in the face."
You talking about? Ashton Kutcher was one of them.
That was one of them, but another guy, I forget his name, but he was surrounded by all these people. He won an award, but he was just like, the intolerant, and if you don't like it, or whatever. Whatever, it's all good.
You're not punching anybody in the face.
Fuck no, dude.
This is a grape.
This is what I'm saying, man. We're doomed. We're so in our feelings, man. Like, I wish the world was a certain fucking way, but it's not. And we at least have to be honest with ourselves about the nature of the threat and the nature of the world. Come on.
Right. Now, I said it before, man. I'm just tired of saying it. They all live in a bubble. They live in a make-believe world. They play other characters their whole life. Do you lose your identity when you do that for that many years? I mean, you're an actor. What if you did that?
I've never gone so deep into
out?
that, but I swear to God, I mean, some of the best actors, in order to do that, in order to go deep into a character or a certain mindset for months, or not months, but weeks on end, like most of the best ones, dude, that's like, you got to be a little crazy. Not to say bipolar, but you got to like you slip into different identities and do it well. Like, there's a certain level of craziness you have to do that, and you know, whatever. I don't know when all of a sudden like actors, because they're so good at that, all of a sudden you can talk about this. Like, man, you can make a mean freaking, you can cobble a mean shoe. You should talk about politics. Like, what? How'd that happen? Like, just because you're great and you're on TV and the movies, like, dude, doesn't mean you have a relevant thing to say about the chess game, because you don't.
Listen to these people. Director James Cameron agrees that the Trump White House is insane. Samantha or Jennifer Lawrence says the same thing. Samantha Bee plans alternative White House Correspondents' Dinner to properly roast Donald Trump. Michael Keaton says Trump policies recruiting tool for ISIS. Okay. Right. Azealia Banks posts Rihanna's phone number in feud over Trump executive order.
Let me get that number.
Bruce Springsteen, Trump's temporary refugee ban is fundamentally un-American. I don't think Springsteen was saying that when Obama banned people from coming here for 6 months.
Yeah, I know, man. I know.
Dude, I was in Chicago when American Iraqis were demonstrating in downtown Chicago, and a bunch of lefties were with them, all going nuts, and there was potentially going to be a bunch of flag burning. So Matt Hughes was there with me. We were there for a magazine launch.
Oh, shit.
And so Matt and I went out kind of on the prowl looking for somebody trying to burn a flag because we were going to have some fun with them. And we talked to a bunch of Chicago police officers that were standing in line, and we asked a couple of them, we go, if we see somebody burning a flag, what can we do legally? And they go, well, whatever you do, just leave real quick, and we won't chase you real fast. So just keep moving, and you're probably not going to have a problem.
I don't know, man. It's just, we're in trouble, dude. We're still in trouble. Like, nothing's changed just because Obama left. I'm anxious to see how this plays out. I'm really anxious to see this DynCorp. Ladies and gentlemen, DynCorp. Look that up, dude. They have a history of some child sex trafficking, and there is a member, CEO, former CEO of DynCorp, I believe it's CEO, Stephen Feinberg, is advising Trump.
So, I mean, the guy would have been, were people arrested in this DynCorp?
Well, you know how it works, dude. It's kind of like fucking Goldman Sachs. They almost collapse the economy and they get a fine type shit. No, I mean, there's never any individual accountability. It's more of a fine or financial issue. But yeah, no, I forget. I'll have to post the article or whatever, and I'll send it to you. But no, there was some. It's on record that they were, admonished, if you will, for this. Like, there was a record of them being involved in the human trafficking thing. So,
who knows, man? Maybe Trump's group's making him spill the beans so they can go after people. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I talked to somebody. Maybe this is part of the. Remember when Jesse Ventura was elected head of governor of Minnesota?
Yeah.
He had said literally there was 5, 6, 7 cats that took him to the basement of the state house or whatever, the governor's house.
Right.
And the CIA essentially just had a conversation with him. And, after those conversations, sometimes people behave differently a little bit. Maybe he had that conversation and has to have somebody there kind of as a handler from the other side. Not a handler, but an observer from the other side to make sure he stays on the straight and narrow. Dude, he has his own security detail, right? Outside of the Secret Service?
I believe so, yeah. They're secondary. They're on the outer.
Yeah, so he clearly does not... He's very JFK wary.
Yeah, he is. And I wonder, when Trump got that speech from certain people, I wonder if he went, "You done? All right, get out of my house."
Right.
Because his actions certainly aren't. And you know what? I tell you what, he does things a lot more publicly. When he signs something, he announces it and holds it up in front of the cameras, right?
Right.
So he's making sure everybody's very clear on what he's doing. I mean, he's obviously a showman.
This is the kind of transparency that we should have expected, honestly, from the Obama White House. Remember, he was just like, everything I fucking signed, I'll send it to you 48 hours before. You know what I mean? Which was obviously horseshit, but like
Right.
this is full on transparency, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so the David Harbour was the gentleman that was talking about we will punch some people in the face to protect the marginalized.
Yes.
That was David Harbour. Now, I'm just wondering, and I said it before on our podcast, but I'm just wondering with how upset these people are getting in Hollywood when they're actually going to go on strike.
Yeah, right. And imagine, brother, Hillary won, and Vince Vaughn, Mel Gibson gets up in one of them award shows and says the same fucking shit. We're going to start punching fucking pizza gators in the face. You know what I mean? It would be... You know what I mean? It's just the level of hypocrisy obviously is in place, and it always will be. But yeah, their butt hurtness is just like literally like clouding their emotion because they're literally, and I said it in the previous shows, they literally have become the very thing that they were telling Trump and their Trumpers not to be when they quote unquote lost.
Right. And just knock on wood, thank God. But Hillary is trying to put together a TV show now to build momentum to come back and run again in 2020.
A TV show? Do tell. What's this
that
about?
What do you call that? The Geritol posse? Right?
What
are they doing? I mean, you know that they're going to be advertising things like Geritol, like I mentioned, Depends. Commercial spots.
Oops, I pooped my pants.
So yeah, no doubt. And some serious prescription drugs. So pharmaceuticals will go nuts.
What is this? What? Seriously? So this happened for real? Like she's trying to?
That's what and so.
What's it? What is it? Like a reality show?
Like
Do you have any?
Walkers, canes.
Niagara. Viagra, of course. Where did you hear this? Is this a reality show? Like, what kind of show is this? Is this like a Oprah talk show?
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
Because by the time she gets this up, she might be able to bamboozle another generation, quite frankly. Because she almost did it this time, which is crazy. But, I mean, I was thinking she's too tainted because the left still, and I hate to use these terms, but that crew who supports her still refuses to realize that she was just a horse shit, super compromised, wickedly diabolical Cruella de Vil type candidate. Yeah. There was no way she was going to win.
That pretty much summed it up. That was very good description, by the
way. Right. Seriously, like instead of being like, dude, this chick was, I'm sorry, she was just mommy dearest on steroids horseshit. We couldn't do it.
No wire hangers.
No more hangers. Oh gosh.
So now, as much as I was going off on the Today Show, not reporting both the names of the shooters, and that one was a convert to Islam and radicalized, as long as with his other buddy Mohammed Kadir. But the Today Show now is cutting its third hour of its show, which obviously the Today Show is very high rated, to make room for Megyn Kelly. She's going to be the third hour of that.
I saw that, and they're shifting those. Who was it? Greta Van Susteren, who was on like Fox, is now on CNN. Like they're moving these kind of traditionally right left. Like they're kind of doing a little shuffle here. I'm not sure what the fuck's going on. Saw Glenn Beck on Anderson Cooper.
How much different are their broadcasts going to be, though?
How what?
How much different are their broadcasts going to be when they go to those liberal networks where the producers are feeding them storylines that they have to read, right? When they were used to doing other stuff. I mean, they did a lot of middle-of-the-road stuff, but they did some right-wing stuff, right?
Dude, I'm wondering how these cats are even relevant coming off this election, quite frankly. Because, like, if you were like if you were a big like fantasy fit football picker and you just were fucking losing everyone money, no one would really come fuck with you again. That's essentially what happened this last mainstream media round. This Trump, from his announcement to everybody chuckling at that to like he won't. There's no way he can win Michigan. No way he can win Pennsylvania. All these different states to him actually fucking winning. All that punditry, all those metrics, like. why would anyone listen to that again? You lost so horribly on both sides, really. You know what I mean? They both were like, basically towing Hillary Clinton's line. I could tell, like, man, she's really in a commanding position, et cetera, et cetera. Just dog shit, quite frankly. I don't know how they have a job anymore.
No, I agree.
You and I should be getting paid more, because seriously, we were way more on fucking point than they were.
That's amazing. But you got to remember, too, if we went on being on point on the election, who's going to get paid more between you and I?
Yeah, believe me, bro. I've always been able to live within my means, like your boy Matt said the other day. And right. I'm not an extravagant type cat, so believe me, as long as I'm comfortable and chilling, we're all good.
That was that, and you started to come around toward the end, before the election. You actually started to come around and go, you know what? You might have
and you know what? And then we'll have to go back to the archives, because you were absolutely correct. Literally, from when he announced, I was literally Jeff Wilson. I was like, I have to plan to move out of the country, period, because they both were fucked. And I honestly saw Donald on a couple different alternative news media spots and articulated his understanding of the inside baseball. So I was like, oh, shit. And that just kept flowering from there, quite frankly. I knew, like I said, it wasn't going to be a silver bullet. But one thing he understood was ISIS, and that was a huge, huge part for me. The war on terror and ISIS, and kind of understanding this network we talk about all the time,
right.
Used to kind of scare everybody and, regime change and destabilize different countries and implement.
While you're being very, very honest about stuff, but I wasn't on board with Trump in the beginning. I wasn't. The only thing I said was, everybody knew I was a Rand Paul guy. I did speeches for Rand Paul. I wanted Rand Paul to win. I knew it was a long shot. I think that Trump's making a big mistake not having him somewhere in his cabinet.
Mm-hmm. Agree.
But, once my boy Rand dropped out, and, I had met and talked with Rubio before. I'd never talked with Cruz before, but I like a lot of the things that he does. I mean, he's a brilliant man, but
dude, Cruz's dad was a part of he knew Oswald, dude. Trump was right about that.
Right, yeah. But, for me, I thought, look, if Trump has made a true switch from liberalism to conservatism, a Reagan-esque switch, and those were my exact words, I support him. And, I mean, he made more than a Reagan-esque switch, dude. He's full-blown on, like, he's full right. There ain't no left in him. Besides, saying, look, I'm not going to change anything about the LGBT, anti-discrimination laws and things like that. I mean, there's no reason to, because they're fellow human beings. Why would you reverse that and make it okay that you can be mean to them? That's stupid to do anyway.
I did hear he's trying to respect and implement federal law as it relates to the weed, man. I heard he's trying to not, move away from states' rights. I mean, California, Washington, these states are making big money. And it's not the scare thing everybody thought it was going to be, man. I would barely be upset if he, it has nothing to do with my own personal thing for it, but it's just like, it's a financial issue, man, and the states' rights issue. Like, why would you, the consensus is pretty much moved towards states recognizing medicinal as well as recreational use.
Right, right. Well, I mean, to me, if I'm Trump, number one, from what they say, he's never had a drink of alcohol and he's never done drugs.
Right.
He just never has. So for him, he doesn't understand any of that. But if he were to look at legislation that said, no, this legitimately helps cure people with cancer.
Yeah.
Being the
if
guy
he
that
takes
he
it out
is,
of the context of just recreate, I mean, dude, the medicinal, jeez. I saw a video the other day, man, the guy, older gentleman, Parkinson's or ALS, I'm not sure what it was, but he was shaking really, really bad. And he had taken an edible, I think it was an edible, or he did a little vape or something. It was a small amount. The guy just sat there and chilled and talked. I'm like, wow, I haven't, it was pretty huge, man. And that's happened a lot. That's happened quite a lot. I mean, anyway, not to digress, but
that's a long jump, a leap from when I was on Venice Beach walking with one of my buddies, and every other door was a medicinal marijuana place, and I go, you know what? I'm just going to go in and ask these people questions because I have no clue how this works. I'm just curious how they're doing this, right? So we go in and I say, what type of conditions do people have to get medicinal marijuana in the state? And they pull out this friggin' clipboard with like 5 sheets of paper on it, and there's like 3 rows on each sheet of paper with different conditions, and there's stuff like you got a hangnail and your head hurts once in a while type thing. Yep. It's everything under the sun.
The criteria is very loose and the threshold is very low. You're right.
Yeah, it's basically it should have just said, I want to get high.
Essentially.
Do you want to get high? Yeah,
you're on Venice Beach, man. Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's the thing, and I'm not. I know that they're arresting people because they're, drinking and smoking pot, which is making it even worse type thing and whatever. And, they're probably
getting heroin. Our guy, we're going to talk about it here before we close the show, man, at the Gentleman's Cooperative, the gentleman I met this weekend, who was a Collinsville down here in Southern Illinois cop. Just like everywhere else, man, the scourge is freaking heroin. Not to say one's better, well, obviously, whatever. Yeah, one you can actually utilize for medical application when you die from. But yeah, the scourge everywhere is heroin, OxyContin. It's just like ridiculous. These opiate derivatives, which again, man, this goes into this war, like creating a conduit for the heroin. Like this drug trade is being facilitated, just like the terror.
High school kids are dropping like cockroaches, man.
It's insane. Even in Iowa. I mean, it's insane.
Minnesota, it's real bad. Some of my nephew's friends, when they were in high school, ended up dead from heroin, stuff like that. It's a serious plague. So they've got to get that under control. But let's move on to, before we close out, talk about Gentleman's Cooperative a little bit in the weekend.
What
Saturday
an
night we had over
amazing
there.
weekend. Holy crap, brother. Chris Maltzberger, Mike Birdson, that was the Gentleman's Cooperative. They had one of their first, I believe.
Nick Roy, and his
Nick
magic.
Roy, oh man, we still need to talk to him. Not sure if he's really human, but they had their first, the Penthouse Panel, ladies and gentlemen, which is at 111 West Jackson down there in Chicago, downtown Chicago. It was super amazing, dude. Seriously, I brought my big bro with me, Lance Wilson, shout out. But it was pretty much everyone able to hang out and chat with UFC Hall of Famers Pat Miletich, Matt Hughes, Boss Rutten. Wow. Again, man, I was speechless.
That place, that Penthouse, top floor
of
a downtown Chicago building, which is what, a quarter of a block basically. Is that how big that would be?
It was big, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean that's how big this penthouse was. Had a beautiful bar area, lounge area, a giant, beautiful, massive office desk with a beautiful chair in it set up.
The outdoor patio area with the view was just ridiculous.
And then the big area where they had the gentleman singing. Do you remember his name? Because he was really good.
Yeah, no, I don't. I just
got
one of the
owners,
Blake Alexander. Blake Alexander was his name.
He's one of the owners. Dang it.
No, that's it. Blake Alexander. He was the singer.
Okay, there we go. Yeah.
And then Nick Roy was the magician. And then we had the panel, which I wasn't sure how that was going, man. I asked Lance, my big bro, I'm like, is everything going all good? He was just like, dude, are you fucking kidding me? Like, everyone's like hanging on to every word. You guys, that was, ladies and gentlemen, that was, like I said, that was one of their first ones. And it's such an amazing concept because you have your Comic-Cons now, your cons where you're going to get a picture, you say a couple words, and you like shuffle along. It's like an assembly line. This was all night, man. This was hours. This was drinks. There was fights on. These guys got to actually have conversations, and in-depth conversations. The panel, I mean, you guys, man, that was, you guys went, man. You guys went in. It wasn't some like bullshit canned answers. You guys answered those questions in depth with emotion. That was amazing, champ.
No,
I was so happy to be a part of that. Seriously,
Michael White with his weapons.
Michael White with NH freaking firearms, man. That guy was on fire, man. He was that dude.
Those are the coolest weapons platforms, M4 AR style weapons platforms I've ever seen. That the design of those things and the functionality of them that guy's going to make an absolute mint off stuff like that.
Right. Yeah, that
beautiful.
Beautiful
stuff.
Night.
But yeah, it was almost like a throwback in time to like Frank Sinatra days with the suits everywhere.
It totally was, man. It totally was old school, dude. It was like you were at some freaking like Capone party, man. That room, the whole layout, the decor of the layout was amazing. But that one particular kind of chill smoking room with that whole decor of that space was amazing, dude. The chairs, the desk. It was so chill, man. So very chill.
Check out Gentleman's Cooperative in Chicago and get yourself a suit because they make some sick suits. Am I correct?
Yeah. Oh man, you guys were all threaded up so nice. I'm gonna actually I talked to Chris Maltzberger, one of the Chris Maltzberger and Mike Bernstein. Gonna head up there and get myself fitted, man. Yeah, gonna be doing some MCing because I was doing how'd I do, champ? How'd I do with the Q&A? I
loved it, dude. You ran the show quite well. You quarterbacked perfectly, and it went beautifully, and I had a blast. And I mean, I suggested I spoke with Mike actually today and said, we had a guest on, I think our second show, named Peter Schiff, and he knows exactly who Peter Schiff is. He goes, oh, dude, he'd make a great. Imagine getting 3 financial experts. Peter Schiff being one of them, or just Peter Schiff by himself, dude. How many people would show up to listen to that guy talk?
No, exactly. That would be sick. That would be awesome.
Asking Peter Schiff questions about the economy and what's coming. And, for people that don't know, he was the guy that predicted the 2008 collapse when he was getting laughed at in 2006 and 2007. He said, it's coming. I don't care what you say or how much you laugh at me on TV. It's coming. So.
And it did. And it did.
Right. So, yeah, Peter Schiff, hopefully they get him because you and I will definitely go up there and hang with him.
Well, I mean, hopefully I'm emceeing all these bad boys. Not to put him on the spot, but hopefully I can do some Mike Stick stuff on all these. But,
that's a great idea, actually.
There's the whole concept has legs, man, from like CEOs, athletes, like you said, economists. I mean, there's so much that you can go. The space, like I keep telling them, it sounds corny, but you know how like presidents, they bring on different senators, congressmen who are like on the fence on votes. They bring them onto Air Force One because the space brings you votes in and of itself, and that's that space. Not that we're getting votes, but it's such the space is absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah. So we'll talk about our other sponsors real quick and then we'll close out.
Yeah, absolutely, man. We're going to be doing a bit it's going to be coming here in the next few days, a promotional event here we're going to have going where we're going to get you guys some free Iowa bison if you choose to partake in this event. Iowa bison is an amazing, I mean, you pretty much, Iowa bison in itself is way leaner than chicken as well as turkey even, beef. Very lean meat, high in protein. You can go to iowabison.com to check that out. Also, if you want to go check out my podcast, It's Me Speaking to You. It's me, SPKN, the number 2, the letter U. I've had many of different interviews, a variety of guests discussing a variety of issues, discussing things with my boy here, Pat Miletich, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, Kamala, the Ugandan giant. The list goes on. And Ash, talk to us, Pat, if we want to get trained to be a lethal weapon like yourself. Where do we go?
Go to firehorse.com, man. Check out firehorse.com, and we've officially launched training civilians. We're going to
Firehorse Combative, sir.
Yeah, we've trained a lot of law enforcement and military over. I've done that work for 20 years, and my partner Don has done it for probably 26 years. Very, very knowledgeable guy. The guy that's called the Carney because he can do everything well. He can fight, he can shoot, he can work knives. He was one of the best tennis players in the world at one time. The guy is a freak of nature and very knowledgeable in the world of combatives and self-defense. So but we're going to start. We are going to start working with civilians and a lot of rape prevention stuff and a lot of stuff with our patented knife that's coming out here soon. A beautiful design on a knife that Don and his father, who's a master engineer who can make anything, designed the sickest knife that will transform law enforcement and military and rape prevention because of the way this thing works. It's incredible. So we've got a lot of cool stuff happening. So yeah, they can check that out.
Very cool. FirehorseCombatives.com, ladies and gentlemen. And also one of our sponsors, the C4.com. If you want to roll concealed and nice and comfortable in magnetic retention system, like a very, very comfortable system, ladies and gentlemen, go to the C4.com, the C4 being the concealed carry clothing company. We're also going to have a promotional event with them. We're going to explain it a little bit later, but it will allow you to get to put you in the running for a free system, essentially, if you will, a free garment, male or female. So you can go to the C4.com and we will make that happen for you, and we'll let you guys know about that promotional event coming very soon. Champ, it's been another great episode, my man. This weekend was freaking phenomenal, brother. It was great to see you. The Gentleman's Cooperative, man, the sky's the limit with that place, man. Cannot wait to the next event.
Yep, and we got to get you out of St. Louis before things blow up.
Yeah, that's a constant. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in. There will be more. Peace.